Satnam, my name's Rosie and I share the Jade Egg practice with all my clients, with all my friends and anyone who's open to hearing about it. And if you've bought yourself a set of Jade Eggs, there's heaps of reasons why you might have done that. You might have run out of batteries for your vibrator, you might want a new tool for self-pleasure, you might want to strengthen your Yoni muscles to give your partner the equivalent of a hand job with your vagina. You might want to compete in vaginal weightlifting. You might want to bring more blood flow to your Yoni, to your vagina, to balance out your hormones. Or perhaps you really want to build that Shakti energy and use it for spiritual strength in your life. Whatever the reason why you bought your Jade Egg set is perfect, and I'm going to tell you about how to use them and what process I went through with the Jade Egg. So when you receive your Jade Eggs, first of all, give them a really good wash. So I suggest washing them in, or boiling them in boiling hot water, just for a few minutes, cleansing them of any bacteria that might be on the Jade Egg. So give them a really good wash that way. You don't have to boil them every time. After you use them, you can just wash them in hot water and dilute some vinegar if you like. So that gives them a good wash and just releases any bacteria that might be on them. Second of all, cleanse your crystals, cleanse your stones, whatever your usual process is with your crystals, go and do that with them. So you might like to take them down to the ocean and cleanse them energetically in the ocean, in the salt water. You might want to bury them in the earth overnight. You might want to leave them out in the sunshine. You could also just leave them in salt crystals or salt rocks overnight as well. Whatever your usual ritual is with your crystals, stick to that and whatever feels good for you. Maybe leave them out under a full moon. I like to do that as well. Okay, so second of all, how do you use them? A lot of people are like, how do we use these eggs? This is really weird. So they are an egg-shaped crystal, or egg-shaped stone, I should say, made out of jade. So here's this beautiful egg. So this is the biggest size that I sell, and it's quite heavy, but I suggest you start with the biggest size. Why is this? Because you want to be able to feel it in the yoni. And you want to be able to start with the biggest one so you can actually squeeze it, so you can feel it inside you. And it's that resistance. So, if you're practicing Kegels, this is like Kegels on steroids. So you're really using the Jade Egg as the resistance so you can squeeze the muscles in your yoni and draw that egg up inside you. So start with the biggest one if you can. If you know that your yoni is naturally really, really small, then obviously go down to the middle size or the smaller size. Second of all, I suggest grabbing some dental floss. And there's always a hole through the egg. So you thread it through the hole with different eggs depending on the purpose of why you have your eggs. For me, the holes are at the top. So the smaller end of the egg, sometimes they're at the bottom of the egg or right through the middle. It just depends on why you're using it. So if you're using it for vaginal weightlifting, it'll probably not be at the smaller end. If you're using it just for self-pleasuring, which is why I started using it, this is fine. So you want to grab about this much dental floss, waxed or unwaxed. It's meant to be natural and unwaxed, but I have waxed. It works fine for me. And tie a few knots at the end. Now, I have had this break on me before, and yes, the egg got stuck inside me. That's fine. All you have to do is squat down and lay it like an egg. Lay it like a chicken. You might need to cough, you might need to push, you might need to laugh. Just see the light in it. It's not going to get caught inside you. It's impossible. But this is why we put a string on it, so you can pull it out just like you would a tampon. Okay? So from here, so how often do I use it, when do I use it, and why do I use it? So I began using it as a self-pleasure tool instead of using a big plastic or latex vibrator. I wanted something that I could infuse my intention into and I guess have less of a fantasy, goal-orientated self-pleasure practice and more of an enriching, self-loving ritual. So in that, I just used it to self-pleasure. And how did I do that? So I would either use my own lubricant, my own wetness, saliva, coconut oil, whatever, and I would bring it to the base of my vagina and basically just use my breath. I would stimulate my clitoris, whatever felt good for me at the time, and allow my yoni to invite the egg inside me. And often it does just sort of draw it in, draw it up, swallows it almost. So I'd let it come in, and I would inhale, and then I'd exhale, and I'd pull the egg out back to the entrance of the yoni. I'd inhale and use my pelvic floor muscles to draw the egg in. Exhale, I'd tug it out really gently and bring it back to the opening of my yoni. And this felt just beautiful. It was so different to a big, giant, phallic-shaped vibrator. And I started to realize that actually I didn't need that stimulation. I just needed something that was a bit more nurturing. So that's how I use it as a self-pleasure tool. I swap the breath around as well. So sometimes I'll exhale and draw it up, and inhale and draw it out. So it's just about feeling into your body what feels good for you. Sometimes you can put 2 eggs inside of you and feel the vibrations of the eggs. So when your vagina gets strong enough, gradually it will be able to separate the eggs inside your yoni and sort of bring them together, and you can feel that vibration there. If you're using it to strengthen your yoni muscles, perhaps you've had a baby and you want to strengthen those muscles, or you're suffering from incontinence, so when you're walking or running or sneezing or whatever, a little bit of urine comes out. This is great for that. So what I would suggest is when you first get your eggs, I would use them for about 4 to 5 hours max. I used mine for a whole day one day. I just left it in there, and my yoni was so sore the next day. So if you think about, if you just use your bicep for a whole day, your bicep is going to kill the next day. So the same goes for your yoni. If you're using those muscles to keep that egg in, and you're not doing it consciously all the time, like sometimes you're just holding it there, it's still you're going to feel that the next day. And you might just feel it in like an aching sensation around the body, or in the yoni and around sort of the ovaries and the lower back. It's different for everyone. So I would suggest just starting with about 4 to 5 hours using the egg inside you. Now you can go walking, you can go running, you can go to yoga, you can sleep with it in, but just feel into what feels right for your body. Gradually you can build up how long you can keep it in there for. They say not to use it when you're menstruating. Again, feel into your body. If you're menstruating, the flow needs to come out. So perhaps putting an egg inside you wouldn't be the best idea. But again, it might be extremely healing. Before every time I use my jade egg, I infuse my intention into it. So what do I want to receive out of this healing? And this is how my self-pleasure practice has transformed, because I'm self-pleasuring to receive a healing. It's a beautiful feminine way of bringing in this love, this self-love that I have for myself, rather than I just need to get off, I just need to orgasm, I just need to come. So instead it's like the goal of coming or orgasming or ejaculating or whatever your goal is, let it go and actually bring in, I really want abundance. I really am really looking for love in my the work that I do, my career. I really want to have some guidance around the purpose of my life, whatever it is. Health. I need some more health and vitality in my body, in my life. Bring it into the egg, channel that in. It's so powerful. I remember when I first used it, when I arrived in Bali, I went to this beautiful workshop with Sonia Shraddha Devi. She's the founder of Wild Sacred Feminine, and she's amazing priestess. And I started using it after the workshop, and I felt this green, vital, warming, just yummy energy when I had the jade egg inside me, and I felt it, like the colors and the energy just bringing that life force energy up in my body. And I haven't had that. I don't get that every time. That was just this really powerful visualization of what's going on in my body. And you can really use this egg to heal trauma. If you've been raped, if you've been sexually molested or abused, or anything that has had trauma either here or down in your reproductive organs or somewhere on your body and it's just not feeling good, clear it out with the jade egg, with the pleasure wands that I also share on my website. Because, if whatever you bring into that crystal, into that stone, really magnifies in your body, in your life. So that's really another important practice to the jade egg. What else do I need to share with you right now? There's a lot of exercises that I would like to share, which I will put in other videos. But at the moment, this is exactly what I believe in and how much I love the practice of the jade egg, and I just want to share it with every woman on the planet. So if you do have something that you'd really love to bring forth in your life, infuse it into the egg. Do different exercises. Use it when you go for a walk. Send it as a gift to your mother or your grandmother, whoever in your life you feel really needs to heal their sacred space. If you've had cervical cancer, if you've had any cancer or disease in this area of your body or your breasts, a lot of it has to do with shame. A lot of it has to do with guilt and insecurity and that feeling of you're not worthy or you don't deserve love, pleasure, sexual energy, whatever it might be. So this is an extremely healing tool for that. And I would love to hear your feedback on the ladies that have bought the jade egg. And if you have any questions at all, just send me an email to rosie@rosierees.com. Satnam.